Hey, what's good, YouTube? We're back with another Can You Help My Team? Um, Shout out to Jet and Jackson for sending in the video request. He asked for me to look at his team and offer some pointers if I could. Um, and I'm going to do just that. Check it out. All right. One of the things that I see as I peruse this team, um, it's going to be sustainable for series 3, but moving into series 4 with all of these upper tier cards coming out, we'll have to make some adjustments. 90s and 91s on our offensive line will no longer be acceptable. You're going to have to bump those up. I think Brandon Scherf is a great option to have at right guard. I think he hits like 93, 94 with the appropriate chems on him. Great option to look at. Also, be sure to just go to the auction house and look at left guard and left tackle. With such low rating um, tackles, be sure to put edge protector on your tackles. That if you run across a defensive line user, your your offensive line could be in trouble. And if you run against somebody who runs inside stuff on their defensive tackles, you can cancel Christmas on trying to run the ball up the middle. That will not work at all. Um, you have a lot of talent at tight end. I would strongly consider going to get Yanu Smith. I think he was very cost friendly. Part of the chill promotion. You have a lot of. I mean, they're serviceable, all of them. But you probably want to get somebody who can take the top off. And Yanu Smith right now is a very serviceable card. Your wide receivers. Speed is the name of the game on Madden. And I'm not sure if we have enough speed at wide receiver. We have Tyreek Hill, but we don't have the highest rated card. Let's at least try to get route runner on some of these on Odell, so his cuts will be quicker. Something so we can get away from these cornerbacks, because I'm telling you, you're going to run it across some teams that are going to give you fits if you aren't careful. Because you really don't have a lot of speed to be able to get away from anybody. Quarterback Lamar Jackson, you already know personal feelings. I don't care for Lamar Jackson at quarterback on this game. It's just not very good on the game. I think he's a great scrambler, but you get somebody who puts conservative on option defense time the game starts, it's not going to do too much. It's not going to do too much. His passing is a little more accurate, but he still will sell even with the higher rated card. I would go in a different direction. But your play style may fit Lamar Jackson. I hope if that's what fits you, keep it. Halfback. You're good with halfback. I would strongly try to get another top tier back, but you're okay with Kenyon Drake. Kenyon Drake is fine, and you have Arian Foster to come in with 87 overall power. You may want to try to go Bo Jackson or Herschel Walker there, if that's going to be your power back. Arian Foster is serviceable though, but again, you're about to run into these teams that are 96 overall, and they just won't cut it with that. Fullback, have a great one, Max Strong. No complaints there. But an overarching thing that I can see One, you got to get that training up, bro. That 4 to 76 training, got to get that up. Because everything that I pretty much have been saying has been eluding to training. So you got to get that training up. Uh, Also, when at all possible, get power ups for these cards. Like I see Jonathan Ogden doesn't have a power up. Your left guard and left tackle don't have power ups. Even your center doesn't have a power up. Whenever it's possible, get the power up edition of these cards. That will help you tremendously. It will help you tremendously. That's been the offense. Let's take a look at your defense. Alrighty. Um, Defense is very susceptible to the pass. It's very susceptible to the pass. I look at your defense and I see you have two upper tier corners in Antonio Cromartie and Marshawn Lattimore. They're both, well, Lattimore is a 95 and Cromartie is a 96. But you have Byron Jones at 93, Marcus Peters at 91, Anthony Brown at 81. You have to be extremely careful with this because run across a team that's running five wides, and you're going to have to depend on your safeties to cover. I'm not sure that you're in position to be able to comfortably do that. Also, Vita Vea was good for like a hiccup on this game. Like he wasn't good long at all, and he's serviceable. He's serviceable, but I would consider getting some. Well, depending on your play style, you already have one speed rusher with Leroy Glover. I was going to say maybe you should consider getting John Randall, but you already have one speed rusher, so maybe Vita Vea serving the purpose there. Not sure. Uh, Great card with Robert Mathis. Cameron Hayward is pretty good as well. But again, they're 92 and 93. And I just look at a lot of these teams. I think the top rated tackle on a non-theme team right now, left tackle on a non-theme team is like a 96. I think it's the same for a right tackle, 95 or 96. And those are non-theme teams. So if they're already more dominant than they're already higher rated than your guys, unless you're using them the way Madden is set up, you'll probably end up losing that matchup. Unless DDA kick in, then hey, you're the man. Looking at your linebacker core, you have a lot of speed there. You have a ton of speed at linebacker. Oh, before I go to linebacker, if you ever get to a goal line situation, you are probably going to be in trouble. And the reason I say that is your entire second string unit and in your front interior, well, not even interior, just your front line is 73, 76, 77, 73. If you run a defensive front that requires 5 players, and I know goal line does, and sometimes I think it's a package in 4-6 that does as well. Somebody's going to have to play. Somebody's going to actually have to be on the field. So if someone spots that in a goal line package, that could be problematic. So you might want to strengthen your defensive tackles at least and get them up to at least a 90. But that's only if somebody's on the 1 yard line or something like that. Back to the linebacker core. Linebackers have a lot of speed. They have a lot of speed on your team. I would definitely put Lurker on Sam Mills. I would definitely put Lurker on Sam Mills and utilize him. He's your number one sub linebacker. But without Lurker, he, just like every other linebacker, has a difficult time jumping and putting his hands up for a ball. So definitely make sure that you get lurker on him. Your safeties, you're straight. You're straight at safeties. And on your defense, I can kind of see a Bears theme coming. I can kind of see a Bears theme coming. And with nothing else, I would strongly could suggest going for a theme team of some sort. Um, I would strongly suggest that because it will boost at least 25 players. Go at least 25 players with a theme team, in my opinion. That would definitely help you because looking at the team, they're not getting maximized to their chems, which they can. Very good getting that 98 on Sam Mills. That's showing that you actually are putting in the work and grinding somewhat. That's a great thing. That's a great thing. Little known fact, you actually have two of the highest rated special teams players on the game. A lot of people don't realize that Sam Cook and Justin Tucker are very highly rated on this game. Justin Tucker is one of the best in terms of power on the game. He hits deep field goals and kicks off pretty well. Sam Cook is a really good punter. Before Shane Leckler and Sebastian Janikowski came out, the Ravens team was the way to go. The Ravens team was the way to go. That's serviceable. I mean, it's Madden. You currently can't kick off anyway, and people rarely punt. So you're solid there. Kick returner and punt returner. Try to get a defensive player as your number one kick returner and punt returner, as well as your second and third position on kick return, as well as your second position on punt return. Because if you use Odell, say you use Odell and you take it back to the 40, well, Odell is tired and he won't be able to go deep on the very next play. So pick out some of those cornerbacks that you have that have some speed and put them at kick and punt return. That will help you out a whole lot. That way you don't risk your players being tired for the next series. Let's go and look at the specialists. All right, specialist page. Let's take a look at this. You're actually good with Kenyon Drake as your number one back, but you're not sparing them. The game has evolved just a little bit. It used to be where one running back did everything. It's not the case anymore. And the way that you have it set up, you have Kenyon Drake doing everything. In actuality, a running back can either do, I think, 3 consecutive plays. They can do 3 consecutive plays of either running the ball or going out for pass routes before they're tired. So here's a scenario. For example, Kenyon Drake. You find a team that has a weak defensive front. So you decide that you want to run the ball. You run the ball 2 consecutive times. Third down comes. It's 3rd and 1. On 3rd and 1, your third down back is still Kenyon Drake. Depending on how tired he is, Arian Foster would come in. But he's only an 80. So you need a receiving type back here. That probably would go under the vein of someone like Reggie Bush. Always good. Raheem Mostert even is great here. One of the two would be an amazing third down back. And you can put not hot route master, but you can put the ability on them where they can have great running routes. Power halfback. Again, we have Kenyon Drake as our power halfback. This is someone that you want to have in the game when you're about to, punch it in from the 1 or 2 yard line. And Kenyon Drake is an elusive back. Bo Jackson, Herschel Walker, Derrick Henry, Jim Brown, those types of backs would be perfect right here. Yeah. Those would be perfect. You have 293 rated slot receivers, Odell and Cole Beasley. Not too bad there. You actually have a lot of potential there as well. Um, Make sure to get route technician on at least one of them so they can get in and out of those routes. Again, you want the name of the game is speed. Now you have these cornerbacks who are 97, 98, 99 speed, and I don't think Odell Beckham or Cole Beasley hits either of those. And if they put one step ahead on their cornerbacks, you can cancel Christmas on your receivers touching the ball. Like they just probably won't be able to. So um, route technician would definitely help you there. Um, Sub linebacker. I think you can be a little bit stronger here. I think you can be a little bit stronger here. Adrian Amos is great. He's great. But one thing that I have learned, when you put your starting strong safety at starting sub linebacker, or number one sub linebacker, that pulls him from being your starting strong safety in certain formations. So Jonathan Abram actually is going to be your strong safety in a lot of formations. If you run formations like 3-3-5, even 3-2-6, and other formations where they use the sub linebacker, Adrian Amos is going to be a linebacker essentially. It's not even essentially. He's going to be a linebacker in that package. So if I were you, I would get a lot better second rated second sub linebacker. Because at the end of the day, Jonathan Abram thinks like 90 as a strong safety, and he's going to get exposed against teams that have Hill and the other fast receivers as their fast lineup. Like he's going to have to cover somebody, and he's a 90 strong safety. So I would get a better second sub linebacker. Your first sub linebacker, in my opinion, should be Sam Mills with Lurker. Sam Mills with Lurker is just as good, if not better, than any other sub linebacker on this game. He can cover anybody. He can cover anybody. So yeah, consider Sam Mills in that position to be number one. I would look around, and Taylor Mays is great. Taylor Mays is great. I'm actually going to have another video coming out in the very near future about rating the sub linebackers. So yeah, that's that. Your rush left end, I would strongly consider getting some help for him, for Cam Hayward immediately. He's 88. He's going to be running against people who are 95, 96, 97 on the offensive line. Unless you plan on using the defensive line, it's time for an upgrade with Cam Hayward there. The Rug Lover is good. With him being a speed guy, I would strongly consider putting a strip specialist on him. So when he gets to the backfield, he can wreak some havoc back there. Robert Mathis is solid. He's good at getting sacks on the game. But again, with all of these this is great for Series 3. So that's about 2 more weeks. But it's almost time to make some upgrades here. Also put in some people on the second string. You want to have control of that. Let's just say that Cam Hayward, Leroy Glover, and Robert Mathis are tied in the series. Well, the computer is going to be the person. Well, the computer is going to be the determining factor. The computer's never a person. I'm sorry. I don't know where it came from. But it's going to be the determining factor in putting in who it sees fit to put in. So, with that in mind, take control of that. Go ahead and put your best players in those positions So when it's time to actually be able to get after an opponent, you can do it with no problems. Um, Slot corners. You have Marshawn Lattimore and Antonio Cromartie, which, if I remember correctly, are also your number one and number two. Um, Also, your number one and number two cornerbacks. You're pulling on them a whole lot. You're pulling on them a whole lot. And let me tell you what that does. Let's say, for example, a team comes out with 3 or 4 wide receivers, right? And they have 2 slots. They have 2 slot receivers. Well, this pulls Marshawn Lattimore and puts him on one of those slot receivers, and takes Antonio Cromartie and puts him on another slot receiver. I'm sorry. So that puts your third and fourth cornerback on their first and second best receiver. That could be problematic. Because if I recall, I think you had a 93 and a 91 at your cornerbacks. I wouldn't try putting a 93 anybody on Tyreek Hill and the upper tier receivers in the game. So probably step your cornerback game up. I think some of these zero chill promos have come out, and I know how competitive you are, and so I'm looking at your team as somebody that I know that you want to be the best, and I'm trying to help you with those decisions. But we got to get you involved in some coin making methods. We got to get your coin game up. We got to get your training game up so we can make some adjustments and get our team as highly rated as possible. Thank you for trusting me and caring about my opinion. You definitely have a strong team. You're 93 overall. It's not like you trash. You are far from trash. But those are the adjustments that if I could, I would make. Not saying they're right or wrong, but just my play style and my knowing you the way that I do, I think that those would be something to take into consideration. You are a very strong team, but the way EA does it and has been doing it all year, I don't know if they've been doing it previously, all of your cards are going to get buffed heading into Series 4. Like, they're going to require you to get the upper tier cards. Like, that's just the way that they get down. So, go ahead and beat them to the punch. I'm not sure if you have maxed out Leroy Glover, but if you haven't, go ahead and do that. I think it's like 40k coins. I think it's like 40k coins for another hero token. So yeah, you can go ahead and play a couple of head-to-head games and all that good stuff and get the desired and necessary coins for that. But yeah, thank you. This has been a Undergamer 870 show. Thank you all for caring enough to watch. If you would like for me to rate your team and provide feedback for it, don't hesitate to email me at undergamer870@gmail.com, and let me know what you're emailing me about, and we can be in communication, and I can tell you the further steps to take to go ahead and get that done. With no further ado, don't forget to like, sub, and subscribe. Peace.